So today you're going to learn two new angle relationships. That's going to bring you to a total of, depending on what class you're on, either 3 or 4 angle relationships that you need to know. So you're going to want to start studying these. Remember, we have vertical, which is across from each other. That means they're equal. And we have adjacent, which is just a way to talk about angles, which means they're next to each other. They don't have any angle connection, measure connection, just that they are next to each other. So here we learn that two angles are complementary. I have to sound it out. Complementary if when you add them together, they equal 90 degrees. So we're looking for two angles that together make a right angle. Here we have measure of angle 1. So this M right here means measure. Measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is 90 degrees. Okay, let's see. I have to remember how to change some of this stuff because that is annoying and I can't remember. Classic. Okay, got it. All right. So I like to remember complementary because when I start writing complementary, I write CO and I could continue, but I'm going to stop there and think that I could change CO quite easily into a 90. So complementary is when two angles together make a 90-degree angle. Two angles are supplementary when the sum of their measures is 180. So when we put them together, they make that straight angle we talked about, looking like a protractor, right? That makes 180 when you put them together. This means the measure, M stands for measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 4 is 180 degrees. And I remember that because S for supplementary can very easily be made into an 8 for the 180. Okay, so complementary is the CO and supplementary starts with an S. So that is the S for supplementary. So we're going to practice what that tells us. Let's first just identify whether it's complementary, supplementary, or neither. I like to draw. So I've got this space here is angle 1 and this space here is angle 2. Look what I make. I make one of those protractors. So this is a supplementary angle. Two angles that are supplementary. Okay. How about these two? A 90 and a 90. If you add 90 plus 90, you do get 180. And again, if I take my pen and I go like this, here's this space and here's this space, again, I have that half circle shape. So I know that this also is a supplementary set of angles. Down here, they're not even next to each other, but that's okay. We can still add their measures. 60 plus 30 is indeed 90. So 90, that 9, I think about my CO being made into a 90. These are oops, I forgot a letter. I'm like, why does this not look right? Complementary angles. So just, you can pause this and practice this for a minute, or you can do it with me because I'm going to add 85 plus 90. See what I get. I get 175. So this example is actually neither of them. It's not complementary or supplementary. It's neither. And let's come over here and add these. They're not adjacent. They're not next to each other, but we can still add them. 5 and 5 is 10. and that's 90. So when you add two angles together to get 90, those are called complementary. Those are complementary angles. Again, we're going to use this information to help us solve for unknowns. Just like we did yesterday, we set two angles equal to each other to solve to get x. Today, we're going to use the information that these two angles together make 90, which means they are complementary, always trying to identify the relationship first. Complementary angles add up to 90. So I'm going to take 28 and I'm going to add it to 2x and set it equal to 90. Yesterday, we set them equal to each other, but today it's a different relationship. So you have to really be paying attention so that you know whether you're setting them equal or whether you're adding them. I'm going to split this. I'm going to put my x in a box. That leaves me with a positive 28. I'm going to subtract 28. I don't know why my stylus isn't working very well here. Okay, 2x equals. You have a calculator, so please do not make a calculation error. 90 minus 28 is 62. And I didn't write small enough. I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to get x equals 31. Now I'm going to go back and see if that's what they asked me right here. They asked me what is the value of x, and I did answer that question. X equals 31. Awesome. Let's take a look at the next one. Oops, not doing so well here. The angles shown are supplementary, so they told us that. We already know that the angle relationship is supplementary. That means that we're going to take the two angles and we're going to add them together. 123 plus 3x equals 180. To solve it, I'm going to split. I like to box up my x. That helps me see to get rid of the 123 by subtracting 123. 3x equals. Again, don't make a calculation error when you are given a calculator. This is 57. A lot of kids think you can't divide 57 by anything, but you can. It is 19. And did we do what they asked us to do? We did. Find the value of x, and x is 19. Oh, yay, a pizza. I love pizza. The picture shows a pizza split into pieces. Find the value of x. Take a look here. You can't see that very well. Let me make this a little thicker. I like to draw this space right here. And look, there it is. There's my protractor. That gives me 180 degrees. That means these are supplementary. So I'm going to write my relationship here. I'm just going to erase this to make sure. Oh, see, I covered up that 15. I wondered what was there. Okay. So this time I'm going to take 30 and add 15x and add it to 180. Got to make my line thinner again so that I have space. And I'm going to split. I like to box up my variable. Get rid of the 30. 15x equals 150. And when I divide both sides by 15, I get x equals 10. Was that they asked me to do? Find the value of x. That is what they asked me to do. So I did complete that. All right, so you can pause it and give this one a shot, or you can just keep on watching. What is the measure of the angle given by the opening of the scissors? Once again, I'm going to see what I can trace. So I've got this space here and this space here. There's my protractor shape right there. So I know that these are supplementary angles. Kind of sets a supper table, makes a straight line. And I'm going to add them. 116 plus 8x equals 180. And I can split, box up my variable, subtract what's on the outside. Be careful there because you do not want to have a calculation error, especially when you're told it's okay to use a calculator. 8x equals 64. And when we divide by 8, we get 8x equals 8. Let's go back and make sure we did what they asked. What is the measure of the angle? They didn't ask me to find x this time. This time they asked me to find the measure of the angle, which is this, by the opening of the scissors. So if I know x is 8, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to have 8 times 8, which is 64 degrees. The opening of the scissors is 64 degrees. I'm going to type that. The opening of the scissors is 64. And I should have a degree sign, but that's just too hard for me to do on my Chromebook. You're not allowed to use that excuse. Okay, there are the notes for lesson 2. You can now do the lesson 2 homework, which is on page 6A, 6B, and 6C. 3 pages.